Hi, welcome to my channel where we question everything. Today going to talk a little bit more freely. There is no teleprompter and see how it goes. The subject of today is creativity and imagination. It was one of the things that I struggled with, and my argument and final conclusion is that there is no such thing as a proper imagination or creativity. Well, you can say in the definition that I'm thinking of. My argument is that the human mind is not capable of thinking of anything that is unique and new. Since you are basically a baby, you have a brain that is like a hard drive, and it has to be filled up with certain items and visions and whatever you see during your lifetime. So when you want to create something, you have to base it on something you have already seen. So something that you create new. It is an image or part of an image that basically you have used to create this new thing. Now, the best example would actually be art. If you look at art, and if you really think about this, there's nothing unique about it. If you look at, say, people that draw faces or figures or the more traditional type of drawings, they usually have a subject that they draw off, or if they are more nature oriented, they use the nature as the background for a motive for the painting. If you look at more something like abstract art, if you really look at it, there's actually two facets to it. The one is they either flash something on the canvas and then they interpret it or they modify it to the type of art or painting that they would like, or they use common building blocks like straight lines, curves, whatever, to create something and then modify it until they see something that they would like to see. But nothing is really unique. Think about this. Imagine a face that you have never seen before. Never. You cannot do that. Yes, you can maybe imagine a certain face, but you still build it up from eyes that you have seen before, a nose that you have seen before, a mouth and the shape of it, and you will composite it into a single face that you think is new and unique, but it's not. Still something you have seen. Now, why I'm actually talking about this is that a friend of mine actually sent me a video on YouTube that was discussing a new model for the atom. And yes, he was creative, and yes, he presented a new model, and he argued that there is such a thing as a neutron, that actually a proton-electron pair. But when I actually looked at it, is that his imagination is still stuck with a neutron, a proton, and an electron, and he was representing them both as basically round spheres, or balls if you want to call them. And he added that they have certain charges and didn't deviate much from the conventional type of model for the atom. So it wasn't really a new creation. Now, I will talk more about in other videos about science and what I believe. And I'm a big skeptic of science in any case. And I'm not a big fan of the current model for the atom. Well, I'm not a big fan for nothing that's currently being that is as science. So, but I'll leave that for another video. But let's come back to the atom, and I will just generate some form of theory. It has no basis in reality. But why does an atom have to be of particles? Why do have these particles have to be round? Why can't it be something like, and now the lack of imagination comes in, but I will refer to something that is, again, something that we have seen and learned and heard before. Why can't it be a plasma ball? Like a mass of plasma that is like trying to stay in equilibrium and so forth and so forth. There's a reason that, but the problem here is that we cannot really imagine what an atom is. We can only build an idea of what an atom is based on stuff that we have seen before. And that brings us back to the ball and the spheres and the different parts and orbits and all this other crap that usually goes with them. There's nothing new. We cannot think something about new. A good example will also be the concept of infinity. You know, when I was a young, probably still at school, and to be honest, I'm a non-believer. I'm an atheist. But okay, in South Africa we have 12 years of education, and so when I was about in grade 7, grade 8, I was a big Christian. And I really did everything that a Christian should do, and distribute pamphlets and all this other stuff. And then about in grade 9 or 10, I realized, but sorry, this is not for me. There's no truth in this. So that's when I became an atheist. And then basically in grade 11, I got out of the closet and told my teachers I'm an atheist. And they were a big shock. But in any case, I'm deviating about the whole thing. But one of the arguments I usually had at this stage is that who created God? Who created the earth? Then the believers or will say, yeah, but God created. But then who created God? But God was always there, they answered. But then the earth was always there. So the concept here is of infinity. The question also is, you can look at what's outside our Earth is our solar system. What's outside the solar system? The galaxy. What's outside the galaxy? More galaxies. What's outside the more galaxies? And so we go on and on and on. And don't talk about gravitational fields and Einstein's junk theory, please. Don't go that way. The problem here is, it's all about infinity, and it's a concept that we can mathematically describe, but we don't really understand it. We cannot really imagine it. That brings me back again, that nowhere on earth and nowhere in our life do we have anything equivalent to infinity. And that's why we can't grasp this concept. So basically, nothing in our life or in our science or in our culture or wherever you want to say there is something like something unique. No, there is nothing unique. It has all been seen previously, or it's built from building blocks of stuff we have seen before. If you look at sci-fi, like I said in some of my previous videos, sci-fi has a lot of imagination inside, but it's all built of building blocks. So let's imagine life on another planet. Look at the drawings of these sci-fi types of imagined animals or whatever you want to call it, or aliens and so on. They're all based from building blocks that we can recognize. Hands, they have feet, they have eyes, and so on. Who says so? Why would they have to? They're all carbon built. Why do they need to be carbon built? Why can't it be, I think sulfur is the next one on a periodic table. It has the same quality. Why can't it be built from totally different type of chemicals? And the answer is fairly easy. People haven't seen it, and therefore they can't imagine it. Why does an animal have to have legs, or eyes, or or anything, if you look really at um, the animal kingdom of, if you want to say so, there is a principle called evolution. And what does it evolution really mean? It means we all desire, well, I'm not a believer of either of that. I have some questions about that, but that's for another topic. Is that evolution basically says that we all develop from a microbe, bacteria, or whatever, at the beginning and birth of Earth. And then we progress and develop until we were living things in water, and then from water we got to land, and then we create all these land animals, and millions of years later, I'm sitting here and you are listening. But if you look at our DNA supposedly shows us that we are all interconnected. So what actually the only life that you really can say form is based on our DNA. It means that we had one source, original source of where we all come from. And that's what the DNA is supposed to show us. But if there was a second type of DNA with a totally different chemical balance or chemical composition, then we would have had something totally foreign to our current, I would say, animal kingdom. It would have looked totally different. Plants would have looked different. So the question is really, any other type of planet then basically life could have evolved in a totally different shape, form, chemicals. Why does it have to be carbon-based? But the problem is we are stuck with our limitations in creativity and imagination. We can only imagine and create what we've already seen. And therefore we are limited in our understanding and our progress in science. I'll make my argument here. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to my channel. Press the like button. It only takes a second. And for today, cheers. See you again.